Oh, goodness. Let's Get Loud is my go-to vibe booster when I'm DJing, and I thought we might need that boost after lunch, so I hope we got that. Before I introduce our panel, I need to tell you a story about a business I'm working with. This business is a brand owner. They're manufacturing two products. One is a collapsible keep cup. The other is a range of interior-friendly, stylish urns for ashes. This business has outlaid a significant portion of their life savings on product design, has been met with significant manufacturing and shipping delays. This business I've been working with is my business. Naturally, my number one thought right now is, how can I break even and start turning a profit as soon as possible? From seeing business success firsthand on Amazon, I feel confident I know the answer, and it's a term I've coined myself, and that term is quality scale. Quality in the sense of getting the foundations right, creating exceptional Amazon listings, running advertising campaigns to draw attention to my product, and scale in the sense of access to a national and international customer base. The reality is, I don't have the time to achieve quality scale at the pace that I need. As you can see, I work a full-time job in addition to managing my business, a position I imagine many of you may also find yourself in. I need help, and I'm willing to pay for expert support to help to get me to quality scale as quickly as possible, despite my dwindling capital, because I know it's worth it. It's worth getting it right from the outset. There are a magnitude of businesses that exist to offer the support that my business is in need of, but who are they? What do they offer? Are they right for me? And how do I engage them? These are the questions we're going to answer in today's session. So without further ado, I'd love to introduce our panel to the stage. I'd love to kick us off with Mr. Southeast Asia, Darren Fifield. Seat number 4. So Darren has recently relocated to Australia from 17 years in Southeast Asia. The relocation follows Darren's appointment as Managing Director of Channel Advisor. If you have a chance to meet Darren, if you haven't already, be sure to ask him how he dealt with a pest problem whilst he was living in Kuala Lumpur. Next up, I've got Raj D'Souza. Woo!
Good as you.
Yeah. Raj is a master of all trades. In a former life, he was a professional DJ, a motorbike racer, and a chef.
Yeah.
He now supports businesses to sell on Amazon through his business, Export Accelerator. Raj has been recognised by the Australian Institute of Marketing and APAC Insider as one of Australia's leading marketers. It's great to have you, Raj. Next up, my favourite New Zealand export, Bonnie Brady. Woo! Woo! When Bonnie's not preaching Payoneer's cross-border payment solution, she's training to be a ninja. Ooh. Oh, your words, not mine. Bonnie's been swapping out Friday night drinks for one-on-one bouldering coaching. There's a lot we need to unpack there. Yeah, later. Okay, last but not least, Joshua Haynes. Woo! This is the energy we want. I didn't know such a passion for fulfillment solutions existed until I met Josh, which makes him the perfect representative of ShipStation's fulfillment solution software and fourth member of our panel. Let's get into it. Woo! Okay, maybe I'll turn to the responses to question 1 of the Slido, please. Okay, so, all right, amazing. Good to see so many of you have already been to check out our Expo partners. For those of you who haven't, I hope this session motivates you to get over there. They're in from where I'm sitting, the left-hand side of the stage. They are a wealth of information. They have great merch, just like my Airwallex socks that I'm wearing now. But let's get into the formalities. So, team. Raj, I'll start with you. We have in the room businesses with varying levels of Amazon experience. For those who are selling on Amazon, they've likely experienced a pain point or two along their selling journey. We want to know, what pain point does Export Accelerator solve for?
Well, it's a great question, and firstly, thank you for having me here. Well, as you alluded to it, the obvious pain point that we sort of solve for everyone is time. You know, as a business owner, freeing up your time, your sales manager's time, your marketing manager's time to focus on, the core functions of your business. But I would probably say where we truly add value is bringing the collective wisdom of my team, a dedicated team of experts, to guide you on what not to do. I guess that's what most businesses that work with us are paying us for, to guide them on what not to do as part of the Amazon journey. And let's face it, it isn't impossible to do that, but it's hard to replicate immediately or cost effectively when you start your Amazon journey. And the reason for that is you don't know what you don't know. And to know what you don't know requires you to either ask the right questions or potentially hire someone who can do that for you. Just recently I was at a Queensland workshop, an Amazon workshop actually. And as I wrapped it up, I was heading to the car park, and I was ambushed by this seller who had his laptop in hand with his AMS portal on screen. He sticks it out in front of me and says, "Can you tell me what I'm not doing right?" Okay, great place to be, but I looked at it and spent a little time looking at the campaigns, looking at his listings, and I asked him, or rather I suggested, could you pause all your campaigns immediately? So quick context to this business, they were selling toys. They were about 8 weeks into the Amazon journey. They made about $400 in sales, spent about $3,000 in budget, which is about 700% or a little over 700% in ACOS. And he was just burning through, advertising money. So the reason I said that, I asked him to pause his campaigns, was because I realized he was trying to solve the wrong problem. And the problem was that when I jumped in and looked at his listings, he had focused so much on making his listings retail ready that he forgot about optimizing his listings, A+ content, storefront, creating a brand story, images, etc. All in all, basically making his listings more Amazon retail ready. And that, to me, is what he was missing out on. So that's the buyability aspect of your product listing. That being said, don't get me wrong, you certainly need to advertise as well, because that's the discovery portion, bringing in more eyeballs to your listings. And it's finding that balance between buyability and discoverability is where you either need someone to help you, or you can do it yourself with a bit of a learning curve. So in a nutshell, where we come in really is to help you skip that learning curve of selling on Amazon. Be it with a great Amazon strategy, or the right bids, or placement multipliers, or off-Amazon promotions, or even making sure you're in sync with Amazon policies and rules at roughly a tenth of a cost of a full-time resource.
Cool. Thanks, Raj. A tenth of a cost of a full-time resource. That sounds like your cost base is retainer-based, so monthly fee.
Yes and no. So we've got two models. It could be a once-off. As I just said, it's not rocket science what you do. If you got the time, you can do it yourself. You probably need that gentle nudge from us for the first month, which we could engage with you, and then off you go.
Cool. So if I needed just support to run advertising campaigns for my mugs and my urns, Export Accelerator could provide that for me.
I know. I've got my standee up there and my table. I'll talk to you later.
I'll come find you.
You have socks.
Okay, Darren, we'll come to you. Pain points, channel advisor. Hit me.
2.5 months with Channel Advisor as prior to coming down from the north. Bit colder, but most of the brands that we've spoken to within that period of time have, I am here and I want to be here. I don't have the systems, I don't have the people, I don't have the time. Most people are very time poor. So it's the catch cries that we use in most of our meetings is just the eyes on the prize. If you have more people seeing your product, then more people are going to buy your product. So the pain point is people just don't have the resources, and what Channel Advisor can do is give you a platform that we can optimize all your data, and when marketplaces come that they change different things, that they have different parameters and different requirements, that's all automated. So instead of spending all your time in looking at 5 windows, you look at 1 window and everything is optimized to make it easier for you. So the outcome is quicker, the outcome is more manageable, and grey hairs will slow, I can guarantee.
That's good. Okay, so maybe just in a nutshell, so Channel Advisor connects essential data from multiple channels that you might sell across into one platform, so a business can manage their multi-channel business centrally.
Yeah, you've got to think of, you've got images of all your products, you've got all your copy, you've got pricing, you've got distribution, and it's all in Excel spreadsheets, or it's in NetSuite or an SAP, it's all over the shop. And it's a patchwork quilt. So it's a case of just integrating all that into one central repository, which then builds, so that's your island, and then we build the bridges to all the little other islands, which are all the marketplaces, which makes it easier for you. But if something happens at a one marketplace that they change the parameters, it's changed within this central repository and it's echoed throughout. So it's not a set and forget, it's a constant integration and optimization of what you've got. So you can focus on price, promotion, availability of the product, so you can generate that higher return.
Cool. And I think reporting is another big benefit of an integrator like Channel Advisor, being able to extract your data and how your sales are performing across multiple channels in one place, rather than having to log into everyone and look at different types of reports. What type of insights, both competitor or business, can you offer through Channel Advisor?
It's how long is a piece of string? Like I'll cite one example. I used to work for Nielsen in Malaysia, and Nestle wanted to re-segment their chocolate category, and they created something like 64 segments of chocolate. And we saw it, and the brand team have come back and we said, we finished, and I walked back and you've got to be kidding me, guys, come on. And we drew it back down to 4. So paralysis by analysis can kill you, but having the seller center information and all your content and your reports and all your results in one central dashboard, I guess, is a hell of a lot easier. That's what the Channel Advisor platform can do. So not only do we have that integration, that means you can sell more efficiently and engage a wider, be it in Australia, be it in Asia, North America or Europe, marketplace strategy. It means that very, very quickly you can compare where you're working, what SKUs work better, what price point works better in one nice, easy dashboard.
Beautiful. Josh, with ShipStation, what would you say your percentage of merchants who use an integrator like Channel Advisor would be, roughly?
Well, that's hard to say, a rough estimate, but I think when you look at how many, and probably even a question to the audience here, how many people are selling on more than one selling channel? Maybe show a raise of hands where you've got that in there. Yeah. How many of you guys, and a follow-up question of that, how many of you guys are spending more than 1 minute printing a label? Like, probably show of hands. Yep. So I guess similar to Channel Advisor, we integrate with Channel Advisor. They really help uploading and all the stuff that Darren spoke about. We really help sellers with their selling on connecting and printing a label with your multiple carriers. So you can have an unlimited amount of selling channels, and you can then automate, and I like to say we make shipping sexy. We make that, that pain point, and then we help you connect to all the carriers or your fulfillment providers in that regards. So on ShipStation, I'd probably say around 70% of our merchants globally are selling on more than one channel, and in more often than not, they also use certain solutions like Channel Advisor as well.
Yeah, perfect. And can you walk us through the back end? So say I elect to use ShipStation as my fulfillment method or my fulfillment provider. I have my listings live on Amazon. I get a customer order. How does that work in the back end?
Yeah, so it's quite simple. As you sign up to a ShipStation account, and you can really be set up for shipping within 5 minutes, really. So with Amazon, you go in, you select the tile and where you're selling that on, whether it's global, whether it's in the US or Australia, and you can add your different storefronts and multiple of those as well. And then from there, your orders start coming into our portal. And then you connect your carrier account, so you can bring your own carrier accounts. You can use our aggregated and wholesale rates that we have with some of our carriers as well. Or you could also be using a 3PL where you can automate and direct a lot of those merchant or orders based on automation and rules, whether it be SKUs, whether it be postcodes, whether it be any kind of tags or criteria that you might have, so that you don't have to actually go in and manually do that, spending like a minute a day. If you're getting 100 orders, that's 100 minutes that you could be using on other parts of your business. So we really help automate that so you can jump in, select all, click print, and fulfill the order.
Cool.
And all the tracking is also then backed up to Amazon, and you don't need to manually enter that in either.
Yeah. All right, Bonnie, bring us home. Pain points, Payoneer.
I think if we're just touching on what the panelists have spoken around already, around the multiple channels, just thinking around the evolution of business and how it has drastically changed. Obviously, thinking back in the day, the bricks and mortar store were the main way that we did business. We've then obviously shifted to online, and then even further through to the omni-channel way of selling, so selling on multiple channels. What ultimately has enabled this is the wonderful technology. It's made Amazon the powerhouse that it is today. It's ultimately enabled you as entrepreneurs to have this fantastic opportunity to get a different revenue stream coming through. But what it's also done is it's made the world a much smaller place. Now, when we're thinking around the world being a smaller place, what that means is that it's opened up global business to ultimately operate. So you might not necessarily be selling on another marketplace or another Amazon global store. You potentially might just have another area of your supply chain that is based offshore. So what I'm going to do is actually steal Josh's idea and get the audience to raise their hands. Does anyone have an area of your supply chain that isn't based here locally in Australia? So if we think around your suppliers, they might be based in China or India, all the way through to your VAs potentially being in the Philippines, or developers in Ukraine, all the way through to potentially VAT consultants in Europe. Can I just have a quick raise of hands of anyone that's got their supply chain based offshore?
Wow.
Wow.
Yep. There we go. So that all comes down to the fact that the world definitely has become a smaller place, and what that has enabled is Payoneer to come into play and help with managing that cross-border piece, and specifically the payments element to it. So if you've got suppliers that are based overseas that you are needing to pay on a regular basis, you can look to utilise Payoneer to load funds into, make those global payments, minimise that FX fees that you typically would get charged from the large payment institutes that haven't typically kept up to play with this new way of doing business. There also is the ability to receive funds into those global bank accounts that Payoneer offers, and utilise the likes of our MasterCard or working capital solution to help your business grow as well.
Cool. Okay. So the common theme I'm hearing across all of your solutions is time saving. And then in your case, Bonnie, FX mitigation.
Money.
Yep. And then in the case of ShipStation, Export Accelerator and Channel Advisor, time saving plus enhanced customer experience.
Yeah.
Do we agree? Or do you want to challenge me?
I think I want to add like a key thing to that as well. We've done a lot of case studies, even ourselves with sellers, and it's really amazing when you do have the right tech stack involved in your solution. And you know, Raj and Darren can both talk to this as well. That right tech stack can enable you and save you hundreds of dollars. It can save you staff members. I know people in warehouses where they had 17 people shipping 200 orders, and they've gone down to 3 people shipping 900 orders a day. And so it's a huge cost saving with the right tech stack for what often is a fraction of the price. I know for us, our plans start at $25 a month USD for 500 shipments. And so again, it's a really strategic cost saving initiative for a technology, for a software that's really just saving you time.
Yeah, agree. Okay, let's move to question 2 from our Slido responses, please and thank you. Oh, they're coming up this side. Woo! Okay, great. I sell on multiple channels, including Amazon.com.au, coming out as our winner. So Darren, starting with you, we know businesses who sell across multiple channels extract the most value from a software like Channel Advisor, but we want to know the sweet spot. You know, how much revenue should I be making monthly, weekly? How many SKUs should I be selling? How many channels should I be selling on?
Okay. I want to do the hand thing first.
Started a trend.
I'm wearing my Carlton Blues socks, and I know I'm in the wrong city, but are there any Carlton supporters in the audience?
One. Maybe 2.
Yes,
Someone's
yeah.
All right, that's feel better. We'll make the 8 next year, don't worry.
Maybe NRL might hit
Yeah.
better.
I grew up in Sydney, in Haberfield, and my very first job was in selling industrial sewing machines in a company at Camperdown. It's now a bottle shop. I think it's a Dan Murphy's. And the one thing that I took from this very first boss was the comment that small fish are sweet. And we've spoken to a couple of people at our display outside. And they've come to me and they've said, look, I've got half a dozen products, I've got one marketplace, it's an early journey for me. And I said, look, yeah, probably not the right time for us. However, our marketing team go over the top in relation to content and what you've got to look for the silly season and festivals and in promotions and key learnings and what have you. Give me a card, we'll put you on the database and we'll help you grow. And once someone gets to looking at, say, 200 plus SKUs and they might have a turnover of $35,000 to $50,000, they're looking at this and saying, hey, this is working for me, I want to go bigger. I'm on Amazon, I want to go into other marketplaces. And we can facilitate that introduction for you. There are a lot of other marketplaces out there and we can sort of throw the arm around you and say, look, let's assist you with 1, 2, 3, 4 marketplaces. But really, 300 SKUs, probably getting close to $50,000 a month in revenue really justifies that cost of, say, $1,000 a month for us to hold your hand and to really attack that next stage.
Okay, that's specific, I like it. Josh, coming to you. So we've got Channel Advisor's sweet spot being, 3 to 4 channels, 200 to 300 SKUs, 50K in monthly revenue. Is that the same for ShipStation?
So ours would be a bit more broader than that. So if we look at some of our sweet spots here locally, we do have a lot of SMBs that jump on board so that they can scale and that they can basically have the manpower to avoid duplication of tasks and automation. However, if you are only doing, 5 deliveries or 5 sales or parcels a day or 10, it's probably not our ideal customer profile at that stage. But as soon as you start to grow and expand from more than one channel to another channel, and then you're going into other regions or you're growing into, and using a multi-carrier strategy or a multi-fulfillment strategy, then I think that's really where our sweet spot is. So we do see locally here, again, a lot of SMBs and a lot of mid-market type customers at the same time. And then we've got obviously enterprise solutions that we can help assist with as well.
Okay, cool. And as Amit mentioned earlier, we're rolling into peak season. And in fact, we're pretty much in it now from here on out till early Jan. With how should businesses be thinking about their fulfillment needs during this time?
Yeah, absolutely. Multi-carrier strategy and a multi-fulfillment strategy. That's what I would often sit there and say. We all know what happened last year. Sorry, was it last year that COVID hit? Yes, when we were all in lockdown, I'm feeling like it. Yeah, so in particular, those sellers in Melbourne, they were stopped getting delivery pickups from Australia Post twice that year. However, there was other carriers within the network that could have picked up those deliveries and delivered them. So it's all about not putting all your eggs in the same basket, having a hybrid strategy where you can turn off a carrier's offering, turn on another carrier's. So with us, it's easy to apply a preset and to change it all over to Couriers Please or Aramex or any of those kind of providers. But also when you're going global and you're going expanding, have that multiple fulfillment strategy. Use a 3PL, house some of that product. Where's your disaster recovery at the same time as well? So what happens if your warehouse is at capacity and you're expecting peak season shopping? Where's your disaster recovery? Are you using a 3PL? Are you using Amazon FBA as a backup or even for certain SKUs so that they can push those out and you can make room for your own warehouse? So it's really about making sure and working with companies like Raj's to really help you think differently around how you want to set up your business to make sure that you're not delivering a bad experience, because what's the one thing that everyone remembers most about stories is how it ends. And unfortunately, I think 73% of consumers will sit there and blame you as a merchant for a poor delivery experience rather than the carrier themselves as well. So it's really your responsibility to make sure that you've got that right strategy in place.
Yeah, agree. It'd probably be amiss of me to say as well that both FBA and EasyShip are a multi-carrier solution as well, so they kind of blend into what you were saying. Raj, your thoughts on fulfillment during peak season?
Yeah, it's a tricky one to solve, to be honest, because it's never a one size fits all. I can't go with a standard template saying, okay, everyone who spent less than 3 months on Amazon use this, a year use this, over a year use this. If you spent over a year and you've gone through 2 seasons, you have the opportunity to go through trends, trying to glean off seasonality, trying to see, what your volumes have been before, and so on. But if you're going through your first season, what we typically recommend is, following a hybrid strategy. And by hybrid, I would mean, you either go with a hypothesis based on your top sellers, or if you know what your top sellers or your best sellers are, make sure those top sellers, if you have an opportunity to do it, opt for FBA. And the ones that are slower moving, you have a myriad of opportunities, right? You've got ways to do AES, which is, you've already heard of EasyShip, Amazon EasyShip. Josh and his team could, help you with optimizing your workflows to make sure you're on point with, some of the slow-moving items. So there are myriad of ways in which you can, peel the onion when it comes to, the holiday season. Do bear in mind, you don't want to be out of stock, and you don't want to be overstocked as well. And in any case, you'll always need to abide by, inventory thresholds when it comes to those peak seasons, because you will be given a limited limit when it comes to inventory if you haven't sold as much in the past. Does that answer your question?
Oh yeah, it does. But I think you'd rather be overstocked than understocked.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, great. Okay, let's move to the answers to question 2 of the Slido. Are they already up there? I think they're coming on. All right. Okay, wow. Strongest one was around suppliers quote me in AUD and I receive payments in AUD. And then next up, suppliers quote me in other currencies and I receive payments in AUD. Okay, great. So Bonnie, I'm going to come to you for this one because payments is your child. So from what you were saying earlier, Payoneer helps to mitigate FX fees, which suggests that your solution is best suited to businesses who are engaging cross-border payments. True?
True. Yeah, no, absolutely, AB. So I think sort of our one-liner that we like to throw out there is Any business that is doing business cross-border can look to utilise Payoneer. So whether or not you are receiving funds from the likes of Amazon US, or you're needing to make supplier payments, we are probably one of the best solutions on the market to be able to utilise that for that cross-border payments piece. If you're thinking around the fees side, let's say, for example, you are receiving $20,000 USD into an AUD bank account, as an example, or into another provider. Their fee potentially could be around, let's say, 2%, which is a really high FX rate. And if we're thinking around that per month, that's almost $400 in fees per month. Annualise that out, $5K per month, $5K annually. If you're thinking around what you could look to do with that additional $5K capital, injecting it back into your business to ultimately help you grow is probably a lot smarter. You could look to obviously streamline your solutions with the likes of your ship stations from a shipping perspective, your channel advisors for your integrations, or looking to tap into an expert like Raj sitting on the left of me. It's definitely worth sort of sitting down and seeing if there is ways to ultimately streamline those cross-border payments.
Okay, great. So again, just looking at the results. So our top band, suppliers, quote me in AUD, I receive payments in AUD, probably not Payoneer right now, but everyone beneath them, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. But even if we think around what I was saying before, that even outside of your supplier network, thinking around those razor hands, there's other elements of your business supply chain that potentially are off. Sure. So even if you are getting your products manufactured, or you're paying your supplier here locally in Australia, there's other areas of your business that you are needing to pay. I think Josh even said before that ShipStation is charging $25 per month in USD for his solution. So again, that's another cross-border payment that does need to be made. So even looking to load AUD into a Payoneer USD bank account to make those subscription fee payments for the likes of your Helium 10s, your Jungle Scout, utilising our MasterCard is another way to look to save as well.
Cool. Okay, I've got one more question for you before I bring it back to you, Raj. So prior to working with Selling Partner Marketing, I was part of our global selling team alongside Yvonne. And a question we always got for businesses expanding globally or receiving global payments or paying global suppliers was, how does tax work? Like, I'm scared to move ahead because of tax. Is that something Payoneer can advise on?
Good question. Now, what's more sexy, tax or shipping? I don't know.
Shipping.
Shipping, radio, there you go. You've heard it from the expert.
Yeah.
So look, in all honesty, we are not a tax advisor. However, having said that, we have got a fantastic network from in terms of our partner base. Payoneer itself, we are a really large global organisation. We're headquartered in New York, been around since 2005, so we've got partners based all around the world who ultimately are experts in this field, and tax being one of them. I know there's some fantastic tax accountants here today, so it's definitely worth having that conversation. However, because Payoneer was built specifically for Amazon businesses in mind, fun fact, actually in 2005, that's when Amazon Prime came to market. So as Amazon has grown, so has Payoneer, and we've ensured that we have not only been adding to our partner network, but we've also been adding to our product suite as well, which means that we do have direct integrations with the likes of VAT in Europe. So if you do have VAT that you do need to pay, that is actually free and seamless via Payoneer. We've also got Xero integrations, QuickBooks, so we're all geared up specifically for businesses.
Great. Yeah, because we are not allowed to advise on tax within Amazon. So we, again, have a network through the SPN of tax advisors. We actually have Donwan Bateman out the front in the expo area if you did have questions around that. Okay, Raj, bringing us home. So what should a business be cautious of or be aware of if they wanted to engage a channel integrator like a channel advisor, a fulfillment solution like a ShipStation, or a global payment solution like a Payoneer?
This is dangerous.
Great question.
That's why I gave it to Raj. Objective third
So I'm
party.
Switzerland on this one. Not many people know of this bloke, Grady Booch. Okay, he's a software engineer, an American software engineer who had co-developed a programming language. And he had once said, a fool with a tool is still a fool. Now, I don't mean to be disrespectful to anyone, but essentially what he was trying to say, or I sort of have, taken away from that statement is that, even before you start off with any integration, or as Josh, you were talking about a tech stack, or anything that you do, you want to start with the why. Ask yourself, why are you doing it, and what is it going to solve for you? The how is always the easy part. And that goes for anything, not just for technology, but also services like mine. You don't want to, come to me because I'm saying I'm the best thing since sliced bread, right? Personally, I think, when it comes to my advice, I would probably say make sure that as a business owner, you're invested in that technology. You've spent time understanding it. You have at least 2 to 3 members in your business who are hands-on with it as a starting point. Now, don't get me wrong, they're all great platforms, and I know, and I'm not trying to patronize any of you, but I've got lots of my clients who use some of your services or the platform, and I know that they significantly enhance, the business, or at least the online side of the business. But I realize that if that business does not invest enough time or has incorrect expectations from the start, it's not going to work. So I'll give you an example. One of the examples we often come across is product content. Now, we all know how disjointed the consumer path to purchase is these days. And Bonnie, you just highlighted it, right? Someone could, discover your products on social media or on a search engine and end up transacting on a marketplace. And as a business, you may want to focus on brand, you may want to focus on price consistency, on product consistency. But to do that, personally, I feel it's, expecting a platform to make those decisions on content for you would be incorrect. You can't expect that to happen. You would still need to roll up your sleeves, either normalize your content, normalize your categories, at times rewrite your content to make sure it's suited for that specific channel, be it social media or, a marketplace or your own website. So I think in summary, what I would say is that there are several nuances involved when it comes to integrating any platform. But at the very least, I would say that to make any reasonable decisions on a platform, you need to understand what it's going to do for you, and of course, know what success would look like. And if you do that, I think the rest of it is fairly easy.
Would anyone like to add any commentary to that?
I think, Raj is spot on. I think really it's around what problem does a solution like ShipStation solve for you guys, same with Channel Advisor, because you don't want to be selling, you don't want to be expending and having technical debt for a solution that you don't have a problem with right now. And so it's really, it's a good point is we're all here for the merchants, we're all here to help you guys as sellers, help you sellers to grow and expand and get your products out into that market. So it's really knowing at the right stage and where you are so that you don't inhibit tech debt is what I like to call it, where you're spending, X amount of dollars and not implementing that solution correctly as well, which I think is a really good point.
Sounded a lot like my golf game, having an unrealistic expectations and not investing time, and that's what you've got to do. You're always going to need skin in the game, but it's a case of just having that ability to do other things to enhance your business. If you're here and you can get the water level down to here, Victorians can empathise here, but if you can get down to here and concentrate on different things and ship better and manage your payment process better and your debtors and what have you, it's going to be a lot easier. So it's not set and forget, but it's having friends in other ways to make your business the opportunity or the outcome that you believe it can deliver. And that's really what it is, setting clear objectives. And I use it with my sales team all the time. How to eat an elephant, one bite at a time. And that's what you've got to think of. You've got to think of what sort of baby steps can we take together with a partner, any of us, to achieve that first goal. And then that second goal, and that third goal. And you sort of sit back 18 months later and go, wow, we did it. And that's really what you've got to do.
Nice, I love that. I want to finish there. Thank you very much, panel. Okay, so we've answered a bit of the who are providers that I can reach out to, what do they offer, and a bit around, are they right for me? Let's finish off with how do I engage them? So there are 2 mechanisms to engage third-party support that Amazon can help lead you to. The first is known as the Service Provider Network. So you can find this within your Seller Central account. You'll navigate to Partner Network in your tabs and then down to Explore Services. The way you can summarize this is businesses who don't integrate with Amazon will be positioned here. So that would be Export Accelerator as an example. That's mechanism 1. Mechanism 2, if I can go to my next, is the Selling Partner App Store. So again, you find this within Seller Central, you navigate to Partner Network, and then within that, Selling Partner App Store. So the difference between the Service Provider Network and the Partner App Store is the App Store do have integrators. So that is a ShipStation, a Payoneer, and a Channel Advisor. My advice is just to look across both if you're unsure what your need will be in there. Good time to state as well, we do not endorse any of the businesses that are listed in either of these directories. They are purely there for informational resources, and should you choose to engage a provider, you do so with your own contracting and terms. Okay, so that kind of covers everything for us. I hope you all feel more empowered to engage third-party support when you think it's needed. I definitely will be for my mugs and my urns. Please engage our Expo partners outside if you haven't done already, and I look forward to hearing more stories on how third parties have helped to bolster your success on Amazon. Thanks so much.
Thank you.